but he was in and out for his telephone, whatever, and he didn't leave me phone number.
Well, today must be the day for the North Country Honor Flight. Calvin Castine, Gordy Little, Hometown Cable in the City Recreation Department Gymnasium on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base around the old base oval. And my friends, it doesn't seem possible that this will be the 15th North Country Honor Flight, taking off from the Plattsburgh International Airport today for the Second World War, World War II Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., and other very wonderful places. And there will be 14 people on this flight. Not only World War II veterans, and sadly we're losing them much too fast, but there will be veterans from the Korean War here as well. It's always been a pleasure for Hometown Cable to be here. I'm embarrassed in one respect because I missed one, and that was the first one this year. But guess what, folks? Calvin Castine was here to cover it. The people who went on the flight had a delightful time. And for those of you watching this program from the very beginning, you know that we've had some cool mornings on the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, standing out there with almost a flake or two of snow in the air. So my wife said, "What are you wearing?" I said, "Shorts. It's summer. It's almost summertime. It's going to be a beautiful day for a flight." So we're here today to meet and greet our wonderful heroes, to talk about North Country Honor Flight, one of our favorite subjects at the whole wide world, and to wish these guys and gals well and tip our North Country Honor Flight hats to them before they board their plane later this morning and head for Washington, D.C. Stay tuned. These are stirring moments and great times to be alive in the United States of America. Well, it's about 15 minutes before the actual honor flight will begin. This is the 15th annual honor flight, North Country Honor Flight. Annual.
Not annual.
Oh, not annual. Well, 15th, second this year. They do several every year, and they have since the very beginning. I'm sorry I made that mistake because my mind was working faster than my lips were working. But we're delighted to be here in the former base gym for the ceremony, for this second ceremony of this year in 2016 on the 4th day of June. Pauline has been kind enough to give me a list, which I have to read quickly because she needs it. But this is the June 4th, 2016 honor flight, and I will now read the names of those people, the 14 people who will be going not on the annual honor flight, but on this particular one for this summer. Lloyd A. Bear, Frank Ashline, Guy Banker, Harold Belanger, Paul Bouchard, Clifford Brown, William Clark, Edward Drummond, Kirk Leaning, Lyman Miller, Richard Norton, Robert St. John, Richard Ward, and Charles White. For those of you who are never regular Hometown Cable television watchers, that's sad because we've done quite a large number of interesting and actually memorable and historical programs. This one is not the least of those, interviewing these ladies and gentlemen who have served our country in World War II and in other wars since that time, flying on the North Country Honor Flights. So it is an honor for me, Gordy Little and Calvin Castine, behind that camera, to be here every time they are about to fly. So if you can't make one of these in person, we hope you watch it, tell your friends about it, share it, and spread the news, because it will be on our Facebook sites, on YouTube, on the internet at HometownCableNetwork.com. And if you never thought you might want to support Hometown Cable with a monetary contribution, this would be a perfect opportunity so Calvin can continue doing this program far into the future. And we're here for the 15th North Country Honor Flight. Frank Ashline said, talk loud. My hearing's
good.
way worse than your hearing.
That works
That's
good.
why I got these funny things in my ears. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good today.
Are you a little excited about this, my boy?
Yeah. And of course, next Friday, coming Friday, I'm going to Burlington and I'm having a heart replacement.
Come on.
I'm one of the white leaders on the next one.
Then you'll be good to go for another 30 years.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I hope not.
Lazy goes to Paul Guy Baker. I went,
That's next week. Well, you feel good today.
Yeah.
When did you find out you were going to go on this flight, Frank?
I found out
we'll see you tonight.
about a month ago.
So you had time to prepare. You would watch the other flights and knew about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy day for you, you know.
4 years ago. Bill Stahn.
So who's going down with you as your guardian?
But I don't have to do the driving.
No, I know. Who's going down with you as your guardian? Is Paula going? Is Paula going with you?
No.
Oh, she's not.
My daughter is going with me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She's here someplace talking.
We'll pick him up in the morning. We got
Tell me a little bit about your service. Where did you serve?
And took basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Did you really?
lives by himself anymore.
And from there, I was reassigned to 1st Army area.
Makes the bed.
And at Fort Devens, Mass, no longer open.
I beg you over here.
And from Fort Devens, Mass, we got there after duty hours, so a lot of us were anxious to find out what kind of work we were going to be involved with. And the person in charge is CQ, if I remember right, which means charge of quarters, after duty hours. And anyhow, he told us that they had just got done working with some maneuvers outside of Worcester, Mass, but we would be going to Camp Drum as TDY, temporary duty. And I was overjoyed with that because it wasn't too far from home.
Yeah.
So from there, I got processed in October of 53, and go to Korea. And I was in Korea from January of 55 to February of 56. And most of that time I was a combat engineer, did a lot of driving a truck, but then I got transferred to the engineers, the infantry. And I don't...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, there's no guarantee to any of those jobs, that's the way it goes.
How are you, Janet Dupree?
I'm doing
Good
great.
to see you.
Oh, I wouldn't miss these honor flights.
I knew you wouldn't.
I would not miss these honor flights. You enjoy your day, sir. They tell me it's the best day you can have.
I think so.
Have a great day, every minute of it.
Thanks, Janet.
All righty.
You're beautiful. She's retiring for her job and
Yeah.
not going to run again.
Yeah.
She's supported this North Country for a lot of years. So then what? So where'd you go after that?
Then I was over there for about 13 months. Came back to the States. I was reassigned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
No, come on, North Carolina. It's a little different from Korea.
I never jumped out of them perfectly good airplanes, though. I left that to the airborne. And again, I drove truck the balance of my time. I had a report down there in the beginning of April of 56, and I got out of service in September of 56. And about a month after that, I met my wife, and going to be 59 years in September that we've been married.
That's beautiful. What year did you get married? What year did you get
I
married?
married 57.
57.
Yeah.
Wow. And here you are.
Yeah.
Never dreaming in those days that you'd be going on a North Country honor flight.
Oh, didn't even think about it.
Yeah. This is exciting for everybody. You've read about it, you've heard about it before, But until you go there and you stand at that memorial and you go to the tomb of the unknown soldier and visit the other places, you don't really know what it feels like.
I think the tomb of the unknown soldier is probably the thing that most interests me right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope the weather is a little bit better. It's supposed to be all right.
Yeah, my daughter's friend checked it on the internet this morning, and it's not supposed to do anything till like tonight. So.
Yeah, and tomorrow we'll get some rain here, but we need more rain. It's been dry.
Yeah, dry.
Frank, you're the best. I hope you have the best day of your life today.
I hope so.
See you later, Frank.
But I'm glad I feel good enough to go.
I'm glad you're looking great.
Yeah, well, when I was in the hospital in April, I had a lot of the medical staff said I didn't look. I told them I was 18. They said, you don't look your age. But I told them, I said, you know, now with the newer cars, I said, you look at it and they have 200,000 miles, don't see any rust on them because they're mostly aluminum or plastic. But I said, if you look underneath them, I said, they need a lot of repairs.
Well, I hope your operation goes well next week.
I hope so, too.
I'll be thinking about you. Frank Ashline, have a wonderful day.
Yes, thank you.
See you later.
Somebody just learned I wanted the guy.
She had a captain there. I know. You're sitting in front of that. Yeah. You'll see him in the front or the I know.
Thank you very much for coming out. Honors Flight number 15. We're now at 226. Once again, you can't do it without without our community support. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today. Our regulars that always come, all of our honor guards, all of our veterans, everybody involved, all of our motorcycle riders, the escorts, the police services, everybody that's involved, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
The message I want to send to everybody here is we're at a period now, especially with our World War II veterans, that it's something that you don't want to miss out on. And our veterans all have a story. And if we could take a moment, all of our veterans that have gone on flights before, could you please stand up? Thank you very much. I'll tell you one of the short stories that the gentleman, Mr. Mike Zeron, is sitting here in front of us. There was a young man that Carl Zeron is his father. He came over and ended up, there were 6 Zerons in the service. Mike did his part. He had brothers that went from the bottom of Italy up to Germany. He had brothers in the Pacific. And unfortunately, one brother, Walter, was killed in Germany. These stories are all amazing. If you just ask, they will tell you these stories. The kicker about Mr. Zeron is his father came over here in 1910, and he left the German army to do so. He made quite a home in the United States, and the Zerons have made an impact over in this North Country since that time. Thank you very much, Mr. Zeron. We had a great Master of Ceremonies last time, and he did such a wonderful job. We've asked him to come back again. We've actually asked him to be our permanent Master of Ceremonies. So from Mountain Lake PBS, Mr. Tom Halleck.
Good morning.
You have a presence.
I will take a step back. Good morning. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you this morning for this We would like to begin by singing the national anthem, and here to do that with us this morning is Ripka Kravitz. She can come up. And then please remain standing. I did this last time. Remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Ripka. Maybe you would join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I would like to introduce Andrew Peterson for this morning's opening prayer.
Morning. June 6, 1944. My fellow Americans, last night when I spoke with you about the fall of Rome, I knew that moment the troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the channel in another greater operation. It's come to pass with success thus far. And so at this poignant hour, I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, the pride of our nation, this day set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering command. Let them lead them straight through, give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfast in their faith. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard, the enemy is strong. He may hurl back our forces. Success may not come with Russian speed, but we shall return again and again. And we know that by thy grace and by the righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph. They will be sore, tired, by night and by day, without rest until victory is won. Darkness will be rent by noise and flame, and souls will be shaken with the voices of war. For these men lately drawn from the ways of peace, they fight not for the lust of conquest, they fight to end conquest, they fight to liberate, they fight to let justice arise, and tolerance and good among all thy people will. But they yearn for the end of battle, to return to the haven of home. Some will never return. Embrace these, Father, and receive them, thy heroic servants, into thy kingdom. And for us at home, fathers, mothers, children, wives, sisters, and brothers of brave men overseas, who sought the prayer are ever with them. Help us, Almighty God, to dedicate ourselves in renewed faith and thee in this hour of great sacrifice.
Thank you, Andrew, for the FDR prayer. It is now my pleasure to introduce Assemblywoman Janet Dupree. For a decade has represented the North Country in the New York. Oh, yes, please. And we're going to have you stand for the entire. Thank you. Once again, we'd like to welcome Janet. She is a lifelong public servant. She was the first woman elected to the Clinton County Legislature. After serving 21 years as Clinton County Treasurer, she was elected to the New York State Assembly in 2006. Just within the past few weeks, Janet announced she is planning to retire at the end of the year after 41 years in public service. It is an honor to introduce Assemblywoman Janet Dupree.
Good morning. Once again, it's a privilege to have the opportunity to be here with our heroes, those who have already been on the flight and those who are going today. If you've had a chance to talk to the folks who've already gone, I'm sure they will tell you that it's one of the best days they've ever had. You're treated royally, and as you should be. And you will have an absolutely marvelous day. I said to a couple of folks earlier today that on one of the earlier flights, like one of the earliest ones, when a fella came back, he said to me, "It's the best day of my life." And he glanced at his wife and said, "Except for the day we got married." So keep that in mind. And it's certainly a nice day to travel. It's a great day to be in our capital. And I thank each and every one of you for your service, not only during the time that you served in the armed forces, but for all you have done since then, for your local communities, for our North Country, and for our state and our United States. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a marvelous day.
Thank you, Janet. I would now like to introduce Dennis Del Grosso. He is a retired veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard, where he served as a rescue helicopter and fixed-wing pilot and as a reserve staff officer. He retired at the rank of lieutenant commander. Concurrent with his reserve time, he served as a federal law enforcement officer and drug interdiction pilot with U.S. Customs, retiring at the rank of supervisory air interdiction agent. He now resides in Saranac, New York, and we are privileged and honored to have him here today.
That's tough. You should try being this big and getting in a helicopter sometime. Good morning, distinguished veterans, guests, ladies and gentlemen of the local community. When I entered the Coast Guard Academy in 1972, only 2 days after graduation from high school, I was struck by a verse that was laid into the marble floor at the entrance to the barracks. It said, "Who lives here reveres honor, honors duty." I can tell you that as a brand new freshman at one of our U.S. military academies, that I had no idea the scope and the depth of that verse, but I was about to find out in the course of my career. Webster's defines honor variably as a respect and esteem shown to another, and a keen sense of ethical conduct and integrity, and finally, as one's word given as a guarantee of performance. In this last regard, I learned the deep meaning of honoring my duty during the many rescue missions where logic, common sense, and safety consciousness might have said, stay home, but where the saving of someone's life was more paramount. In my second career with U.S. Customs, the same thought process followed, where I had numerous drug interdiction missions where I placed Black Hawk helicopters in the midst of armed drug smugglers, landed in front of aircraft on blacked out Bahamian airstrips, or rescued agents in the middle of live gunfire in the middle of a San Juan barrio. But all of that, I'm sure, pales in comparison to the combat situations that many, if not most of you, found yourself immersed in. Nonetheless, you kept on doing your duty in service for our country, honoring your duty to defend, uphold, and protect the Constitution of the United States. And performing your duties in the face of these horrific adversities, you now deserve the honor and respect of your fellow citizens. I'm also the son of a Navy veteran. My father, who was born in Italy in 1913, immigrated to this country when he was 13 months old. When World War II broke out, he enlisted in the Navy and attended basic training at the Sampson Training Center in New York. This, ladies and gentlemen, is his Blue Jackets manual. For those of you not familiar with what this book is, it's essentially their training Bible. And my father passed away in 1987. I never really looked into it. I was in the Coast Guard, and Coast Guard and Navy, kind of like, you know. When I opened this book recently, I found in the both front and back cover names of 112 people that he served with. A large number of them from upstate New York, Vermont, and Pennsylvania. None in Plattsburgh per se, but some very, very close. Burlington, Upper Lake, and so on. Rome, New York. Amazing. Names of Navy veterans. What struck me even more, however, was how little I actually knew of my father's activities while serving in the Navy. Essentially, I know that he was a machinist mate, that he had 2 ships blown out from under him during the course of World War II in the Pacific. But I don't know the story of how he survived or what he did after the catastrophic event. And why is that? Because he just simply didn't want to talk about it. I'm willing to bet that many of you feel the same way regarding your own personal activities during your periods of service. It seems that this issue is a little more widespread than even I was aware of. As I was putting together ideas for this presentation on the Friday before Memorial Day, there were several talk radio shows that I overheard that were very clearly illustrating the complete lack of knowledge and understanding that our younger generation has regarding our nation's history and the war efforts in particular. I find this very disturbing because, as Karl Marx once said, if you take away the heritage of a people, they are easily persuaded. We must not let our future generations forget what all you have endured in service to our country. Honored veterans, in this vein, I ask you to perform one more duty for your country, and that is to tell your stories. It does not matter whether you were on the front lines of combat or serving as one of the many support personnel keeping those frontline individuals going. All of your duties were critical to the success of the various war efforts that you were involved in. and to the continuance of this great nation. Tell your stories to your children and grandchildren, not so that they think that differently of you, but to overcome the revisionist and overlooked history that is being overlooked in our schools today. The validity of your firsthand accounts will always overcome the schoolhouse stories or omissions. While your memories may indeed be painful, the stories need to be told accurately so that the future generations understand the true meaning of honoring their duty to their country. In the same vein of honoring our military, let us also remember those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duty to the country. I've noticed with particular chagrin in the last several years that most of our citizens of the country are more concerned with Memorial Day sales and often have said, Happy Memorial Day. I would like to suggest to everyone present that when Memorial Day comes around next year, when someone says Happy Memorial Day, please answer back, honor Memorial Day. Perhaps if enough people do this, we can reorientate Memorial Day to the day of honor that it was originally conceived to be. In closing, I would like to thank you personally on behalf of our great nation for the duty you performed and the hardships you endured in service to your country. The monuments that you will visit today were not created to celebrate their respective events, but to commemorate and honor the individuals who answered their country's call to duty. I wish you a memorable and enjoyable trip to the nation's capital. May God bless each one of you, and may God bless this great country, the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. At this point, I would like to introduce Morrisonville Elementary School chorus to sing Red, White, and Blue.
That it dance across the mountains, skies, stars, and stripes.
is now my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She represents New York's 21st District in the House of Representatives. She is a member of the House Armed Services Committee and has been an advocate for veterans and military families. After graduating with honors from Harvard University, she served in the West Wing of the White House as part of President George W. Bush's staff on domestic policy. Then, in 2014, Elise Stefanik became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress in the United States of America. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. This is the 5th honor flight I've had the privilege of participating in. I've either joined the send-off right here in Plattsburgh, or I've been able to escort our heroes at the memorial in Washington. And let me tell you, it's one of the most meaningful events I've ever participated in since I've taken office. I have the duty of representing the district in New York with the highest number of veterans. And I take the job as their advocate for both the vets and their military families very seriously. To date, I'm proud that we've been able to claim over $700,000 of VA benefits owed to our heroes in the North Country. We have a very strong tradition of service in New York's 21st District. We are home to the Battle of Saratoga that turned the tide of the Revolutionary War. We're home to Fort Ticonderoga, home to the Battle of Plattsburgh in the War of 1812. We have a history of selfless sacrifice on behalf of our nation. And that's why it's very fitting that once every few months, we send off a group of heroes to Washington, D.C. And I want to reiterate some of the comments made earlier by our guest speaker. Please share your stories with the next generation. I had the opportunity to meet our high school graduates who are seeking nominations to the military academies. And they are so honorably looking forward to serving our nation. But we need to make sure that our next generation understands the selfless sacrifice of the greatest generation. As you see other individuals with the honor flight hats and jackets, please ask them about their story of their honor flight. It's one of my favorite things to do, whether at parades or in various communities in this district. You are going to have an awesome and awe-inspiring day, whether visiting the memorial and perhaps meeting Senator Bob Dole, who is usually there to greet you, to Arlington National Cemetery, where I had the opportunity to visit with one of the honor flights last year to see the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be a meaningful day, and it is on behalf of a grateful nation that you have so many volunteers, from the escorts to the riders who picked you up at your homes this morning. Thank you so much. We are the land of the free because of the brave, and it is truly, truly, again, my honor and privilege to be here to send you off. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, join me in welcoming Sheriff Richard Cutting.
This is the part of the ceremony where we do the honors to all veterans present, past, and future. We will have a rifle salute, we will have taps. And we also remember the families. Memorial Day was last weekend. Memorial Day is a time to remember, a time to reflect and respect. It's also a time of family. If you look around this room, you will see family. It may not be visible right offhand, but you look at the back of the room and look at all the veterans and the motorcycle riders. Veterans are a family. They instinctively know each other. They recognize each other. In that same vein, the honor flight volunteers are a family. And as with any family, we mourn those that we lose. Since our last flight, we have lost 3 more veterans. We've lost Norm Dumas, Ted Susi, John F. Kennedy. This is one of our reasons where we ask you, if you know of a veteran, a World War II veteran, a Korean veteran, please encourage them to get a hold of us. Let us know. We want them to sit up here with these brave gentlemen and to go on this journey. But we don't know unless you tell us. Now we'll have the honor with the honor guard, the salute. Please rise. If you are a veteran, hand salute is appropriate. If not, please remove your hat. Fellow. Assembly, order, march.
Order.
Thank you. Sure.
And Harry Treadway is here now to present veterans with their travel orders.
As everybody that has ever been in the military or connected to military family knows that you don't travel anywhere unless you have a set of orders. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give these gentlemen a set of orders that will allow them to go to Washington, D.C., and they'll have to return. So we're getting accommodation. Our first veteran was with the U.S. Army, Tech Sergeant Lloyd Hebert. Mr. Hebert is a Korean man. Mr. Hebert served with the 24th Infantry Division. Our second veteran is also U.S. Army, Specialist Frank Ashline. Mr. Ashline served in Korea and was with the military transport and a staff driver. He had a good job. Our next veteran is also U.S. Army, Tech Sergeant Guy Baker. Mr. Banker is a Korean veteran, and he was in the infantry. Our next veteran is also U.S. Army. He is Private Harold Bellinger. Mr. Bellinger also served in Korea with heavy weapons. Our next veteran was in the U.S. Navy. Seaman Second Class Leo Boucher. Mr. Boucher is a World War II veteran and was a mine sweeper. Our next veteran served in the U.S. Army, Tech Sergeant Clifford Brown. Mr. Brown is a Korean veteran and has also served in the infantry as a radio man. Our next veteran was in the U.S. Air Force, Tech Sergeant William Clark. Mr. Clark's a Korean veteran, and he specialized as an aircraft maintenance. Our next veteran was a Navy veteran. His name is Petty Officer, Second Class, Edward Drummond. Mr. Drummond is a Korean veteran, and he served on the ship in the ship's mail office. The next veteran is an Air Force veteran, First Lieutenant Kurt Leaney. Mr. Leaney is a World War II veteran. He was part of the Philippine Liberation. He was a pilot for a B-24. Our next veteran is in the U.S. Army. Tech Sergeant Lyman Miller. Mr. Miller is a Korean veteran, and he served as a tank transporter operator and crew chief. Our next veteran is a U.S. Marine, Sergeant Richard Norton. Mr. Norton is a Korean veteran and served as a truck driver in Korea. Our next veteran is an Air Force veteran, Airman First Class Robert St. John. Mr. St. John is a Korean veteran and was an electronics trainer. Our next veteran is also Air Force, Airman First Class Richard Ward. Mr. Ward is a Korean veteran and served in the unit supply. Our next veteran is a Navy veteran, Seaman Charles Waits. Mr. White is a Korean veteran and served as a seaman maintenance man. And that's our flight for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry. I'd like to invite Kurt Porter up for the closing prayer.
Good morning. I am so honored to stand in front of such great men. Today is the day we give honor to each and every one of you. America would not be America without these brave, courageous men. I salute you. May we come before the Lord. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us such a beautiful day to celebrate and give honor to our veterans. You know each one. You hold their lives in your hands. These are the ones that came home from. You have taken care of the rest that have come to you. Lord, please be with our men, each and every one of them, on their flight down to D.C. and give them safe passage and protection and bring them back home safely. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Before we invite Pauline up for the honor walk, we'd like to mention that today is Frank Ashline's great-grandson's birthday. Logan Ashline turns 1 today, and he sends his Papa Frank a safe and enjoyable experience today. And now I invite Pauline Stone.
Good morning. As I read each veteran's name, if you would please come this way with your guardian and join us in the walk of honor. Yeah, if you would like to stand up and perform a order that they could walk through. Our first veteran is Lloyd Adair. Frank Ashline. Guy Banker. Harold Bellinger. Paul Bouchard. Clifford Brown. William Clark.
I just need to check to see if my battery is in.
Edward Drummond. Kirk Leaning.
I watched on that.
Lyman Miller. Richard Norton.
I could do without the cell phone. I know.
Robert St. John. Richard Ward. Charles White. Have a great day.
Have a good flight.
Mike's gonna run out and get his cane and leave us up front. Okay. Yeah.
a great day. Well, what an impressive ceremony it was. As always, inside the former base gym. And here we are after the ceremony, ready to say goodbye on the trip. Elise Stefanik, I haven't seen you since the Code Talkers.
Yes.
What a day that was.
That was an unbelievable day. Over 1,000 people were there to honor 24 Code Talkers and the sole surviving Code Talker, Levi Oakes. It was just incredible. It was amazing to see the outpouring of community support, and it was an emotional day.
How could you not be moved when they gave them that honor walk when they came in with the drums and the chanting?
Yes.
Wow.
Incredibly moving. And when I was giving out the medals, I was, of course, seeing the family members with tears in their eyes and just how honored they were.
And a couple media people, too, with tears in their eyes.
Yes.
It was a powerful day. And you know what? North Country Honor Flight is a powerful day. Hometown Cable, Calvin Castine, and me want to thank you for being a part of so many of these North Country Honor Flights.
Oh, I love them. I mean, this is a meaningful day. It's, as some of the veterans say, it's the best day of their lives, other than their weddings or when they have their children. But I've had the opportunity to do send-offs in Plattsburgh, but also to accompany them in Washington when they arrive at the memorial, and to see them jump out of their chairs when they get to the memorial is moving, and it's a small way that we can thank them for their incredible service.
The only thing better than a cup of black coffee to get up early in the morning to come here for the honor flight.
Yes, and when they have the motorcycle riders to escort them, I talked to so many honor flight veterans who say it was just incredible.
We're going to have a helicopter flyover too. Did you hear that?
I know, it's very exciting.
Can't wait to get outside. Elise, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Levi Oakes.
Levi Oakes?
Yeah, ask her about Levi.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about Levi Oakes.
No, not specifically.
Well, Levi Oakes, I'm trying to get as many World War II veterans. So if you know of a veteran and they have not gone on an honor flight, we would love to put them in touch with this organization. And Levi Oakes is the Mohawk Code Talker that we honored, and we're going to try to get him on the next flight.
I love it. Thanks so much, Elise.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
And here comes the parade. Thanks to Harry Treadway, his motorcycle group with Plattsburgh City Police for doing an escort. What a wonderful group they are. And our viewers might remember how Harry and his crew drove all the way to Albany during the first North Country Honor flight. Most impressive. Everyone is different and unique in some ways, and this one has been very special so far today, as we'll watch them leaving a former old base and heading over to the Plattsburgh International Airport in preparation for their flight to Washington, D.C. A little bit later. Oh, that's loud enough. That's loud enough. Here comes the bus. It was nice to see a helicopter flying overhead, and here it comes. To accompany the bus and the group, to have a chopper here, that's very special, and that's a first for the North Country Honor Flight. New York State Police involved. Various other organizations who always join in for the North Country Honor Flight. It's extremely important that it is a prestigious occasion for everybody, and this certainly is for Calvin and me and Hometown Cable. Clinton County Sheriff's Department joins in. It's almost bigger than some of the parades we did for Memorial Day. June 4th, 2016, our heroes are coming. 15th, I was going to say it again, the 15th honor flight, not the annual, but the 15th honor flight. Since these honor flights began a couple of years ago, we're just thrilled and delighted to be at the Plattsburgh International Airport to welcome them here with Harry Treadway and the motorcycles, the rest of the escort with various police agencies, and today, the helicopter overhead.
I don't know. Okay, the bus is smart enough to come up close here.
That's a good idea. The bus will be coming close. In previous years, the area has been blocked off because of construction. Construction is moving very nicely at the Plattsburgh International Airport. They will be coming in a different door today than they have in some of the others past, and we'll be here to greet the bus and the heroes when they arrive. There are 14, for those of you who missed the beginning of our program, 14 veterans from World War II and from Korea. And Calvin always knows the proper place to stand, a good vantage point for us to get them as they get off the bus. For those of you unfamiliar with the process, they will get on a flight and fly to our nation's capital, visit a lot of great places throughout the course of the day, and come home late tonight, and there will be a nice crowd here at the airport to greet them when they arrive, normally about 10 o'clock in the evening. In the future, once the the new airport expansion is completed, there'll be more ceremonies again here at the airport. But suffice it to say, the ones at the Oval were just terrific this morning. Each one seems to be better than the last one.
Need a wheelchair.
The weather has held up pretty nicely. It was partly cloudy when I got up at about 4:20 this morning. Then it cleared up a bit over my house. And now it's partly cloudy, but there are parts of blue sky. Temperatures in the 60s by now, probably close to the mid-60s, and that's a good thing. It's a perfect morning to fly to Washington, D.C.
On guard. Out 10.
And in case you're not aware of it, this kind of ceremony is replicated many times across the nation. Congratulations to all those people who had the foresight to get honor flights organized some years ago.
Present.
Each one of the veterans has a guardian. The guardians volunteer to accompany the veterans every step of the way, and they pay their own way. The guardians pay their own way.
I know that's what you said, but just want to emphasize that to the people listening, that for the veterans, it's a free flight. The guardians put in a substantial effort here to be here, and you're flying out there, and some people have done it more than once.
Our main speaker said today, it's vital that we find the World War II veterans and Korean War veterans who would like to go with us, because there are always some who don't get the word. That's an old service phrase. So we want to give them the opportunity.
And so many who figure they're not worthy. And
that's true. They're all very humble. 30, 40 people here, but their clapping is wonderful. Pauline, what do you think?
It's wonderful.
Isn't it
Wonderful. Oh my. Oh my. The helicopter was really the icing on the cake.
I was very impressed. Calvin was very impressed. You know, among all the people involved with the North Country Honor Flight, you've been there since the beginning.
Oh yes.
You put a lot of blood, sweat, toil, and tears into this project.
I love it. I just love it, and I love our veterans. Oh my! Everybody says, "What do you do the work for?" It's so much work, so much work. Oh, they're worth it. I just love it.
Just to watch their faces.
Oh yes.
And to see them when they come back after that very long day.
But when they come back, the Guardians, they've had it. But the veterans, they're all excited. They're all talking to each other. It's unbelievable.
Calvin and I were just talking about the Guardians. What a contribution that is when they have to pay their own way.
That's right. Yeah. That's the only way we could afford to send veterans down. They pay part of it.
It's good to underline the fact that these guys, the veterans themselves, don't have to pay one penny.
Not one penny. No, not one penny. Well, look what they gave for us.
Well, that's the way we look at it.
Yep.
But sometimes the public watching this program might not quite understand how important it is for us to honor these people.
Oh, it is. It's unbelievable. And when they get to Washington, you see the crowds here. They get to Washington, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are clapping and shaking their hands, and it's just unbelievable. Really great.
So what are you doing during the course of a day now that once they fly, what are you going to do? Go and put your feet up on something to relax a little bit?
Well, my granddaughter's got a birthday party, and then we have the ceremony coming back, and there's the volunteers, the background work that goes into this are unbelievable. The volunteers, they're just great. Everybody has their jobs, and everybody does it, no complaints. And to make this go, it's great.
And as smooth as it goes off, and as smooth as this went this morning, that represents a lot of hard work in the background to make it work that way.
It certainly does.
Very smooth, always great speakers, always great music. And the little kids from Morrisonville Elementary School.
They wrote that song themselves.
We remember the first time, and I was so impressed when they sang that song, and I am every time since then. So
they're great. They're great. It's just everybody that the hard work everybody puts into it. It's just for our veterans.
You know, I don't think I told our viewers yet, Pauline, that the last time, and you reminded me of this, the last flight when they got to Washington, it rained. I mean, it really, really rained.
Our umbrellas didn't even hold up. Then our honor flight group were the only ones that went to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. They stood there in the pouring rain, our veterans, so they could watch it. That says a lot for our veterans. They're the only ones that showed up out of all the honor flights that were there.
Pauline, while we have a moment, I want to ask you, what is the future of the North Country Honor Flight? One more flight this year or two?
We've got one the 18th of June. We've got one in the fall.
Okay.
And then we'll have 4. Well, we've got quite a few Korean War veterans that we have. I think we've got a waiting list of about 80.
Oh, no kidding?
Oh, yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yes. So we're trying to do 2 or 3 flights. I mean, we'd like to add 1 or 2 flights a year. But, of course, with Penn Air, we have to go according to their schedule.
Penn Air, we should mention them. That's true.
Oh, they're wonderful. They are wonderful. The pilots, the co-pilot, the crews, they all volunteer their time to fly our veterans down. Everybody, it's just wonderful.
There are a lot of unsung heroes with North Country Honor Flight, people who volunteer and do little things and big things for you when you call on them.
Oh, that's right.
Not the least of which is the money-raising effort all year long. Right?
Oh, that's right. And everybody steps up. They step up. It's just unbelievable to be a part of it. It's just great.
We talk about the good times mostly with North Country Honor Flight. There are always growing pains for every organization. And there were times when Pauline was ready to say, "See you later, alligator." You stuck with it. Thank God you stuck with it.
Oh, thank you. It's just so rewarding, so rewarding. I just love it. Just
How
love it.
can you not feel warm in your heart and a smile on your face?
Oh, that's when I talk about it. I get choked up. I try to tell people how it's going, and I just get choked up. It's wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
great. And thanks to Calvin for hauling that big camera on her
Oh, that's
shoulder.
right.
And not have missed any one of the 15 honor flights so far. I missed the last one and already apologized because I was enjoying the fun in the sun in Myrtle Beach.
There you go.
We'll be back for the next ones this year. Again, Pauline, thank you so much for
Well,
being
thank you so much for covering it. Oh my goodness, everybody. I mean, they look forward to seeing it on the PBS. It's
We
great.
look forward to being here. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, the helicopter's still in the air, flying over Plattsburgh International Airport here at the site of the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and it's time to put a lid on another Plattsburgh honor flight on June 4th, 2016. We see the expansion behind us of the Plattsburgh International Airport. We just talked to Pauline, and she told us that there will be ceremonies returning to this airport as soon as the construction is finished. It's another honor flight. Pretty soon these guys will be on the air, and they will have what we hope for them is one of the most exciting times of their lives as they get mail call and they open little cards, handmade items from school kids and families, and enjoy the thrill of going to their memorial down in Washington, D.C. and other locations, including Arlington and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Thanks for supporting Hometown Cable. We always urge you to send a generous check today, if you can, to Hometown Cable, care of Calvin Castine, 1477 Ridge Road in Champlain. And who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.